Good afternoon students and welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture we will be dealing with the structure of neurons. These neurons are also called as nerve cells. But before dealing with the structure of the neurons, we will know what do you mean by neurons. What is the function of neurons? Where these neurons are found? Let me ask you a very straightforward question. How do you know that an object is hot or cold? How do you taste food? How do you come to know that it is sweet, bitter, sour, salty, etc.? How do you hear things? How do you respond to the changes around you? How do you respond to what I say? These are all due to the presence of sensory organs. Now what happens? Whatever messages we receive through sense organs are actually messages or electrical impulses. These messages are sent to the brain in the form of electrical form, and these are also called as the electrical impulses. Now what happens? Once this message reaches the brain, this message is processed and the brain sent back the command in the form of electrical impulse to the body to react accordingly. So the neurons or the nerve cells are specialized cells which carry messages from the sensory organs to the brain and back from the brain to the sensory organs to work accordingly. So the neurons or the nerve cells are specialized cells. These nerve cells or neurons are found in the spinal cord, brain, nerves and all over the body. Now what is the structure of a neuron or a nerve cell? A neuron or nerve cell is usually an elongated structure. A nerve cell is the longest cell in the body, remember. It is an elongated structure and it is also star shaped. Its first part is the cyton, and this cyton is also called as the cell body. This cell body is further branched or elongated to form branches. These are also called as dendrons. Now what happens? These dendrons further forms branches, and these branches are also called as the dendrites. This cyton or cell body consists of a nucleus and small dot-like structures which are actually the clumps of ribosomes, which are also called as the Nissls granules. This cyton or cell body elongates into a tube-like structure, and this elongated tube-like structure is called as the axon. This axon usually remains covered with a sheath of fatty tissue or protein, which is also called as the myelin sheath. What happens? This myelin sheath facilitates the transmission of electrical impulses faster, which means due to the presence of the myelin sheath, the nerve impulses or the electrical impulses are transferred from one neuron to another at a very faster rate. If the myelin sheath is broken at some places, then the transmission of nerve impulses or the electrical impulses slows down. Now what happens? There are some places where this myelin sheath is absent, as you can see, and these places are also called as the node of Runway. Okay, now what happens? Now this axon, this terminates into some branches, and these are called as the terminal branches. And so this was all about the structure of neurons. Three types of neurons are present in the human body, namely the sensory neurons, second one is the motor neurons, and the third one is the mixed neurons or interneurons. Now this sensory neurons, as the name is suggesting, these neurons, what happens? They carry messages from the sensory organs to the brain. Okay, now what happens? At the brain side, the message is processed, and what happens? The brain sends back the command. This command is again sent in the form of electrical impulses with the help of motor neurons. So the motor neurons, they are carrying the command or the electrical impulse or the message of the brain from the brain to the sensory organs. Now last one is the mixed neurons. These mixed neurons are present between the sensory neurons and the motor neurons and also helps in connecting the other neurons. So this was all about the neurons or the nerve cells. I hope this video was a help to you. Keep watching the video, subscribe the channel, like, share and comment. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.